Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for soul growth. Come journey with us through astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Hello, everybody. Today is the solstice, world round, the entire globe. So happy, joyous. We can make those choices for a new solstice, a new season of winter messages. And that's what we're going to be discovering today on Talk Cosmos with our wonderful panelists that rejoin us to talk about vibrational astrology. The world is a vibration, and that's something we're learning as we interconnect and as we resonate. Let's just begin with the show. We welcome you, and let's welcome in the winter. Thanks.
Revealing fundamental core consciousness, manifesting through the lens of vibrational astrology frequencies for the season's energetic theme for the spring and fall equinox and the winter and summer solstice. This is the New Vibrations panel.
I'm Sue Rose Minahan, founder of Talk Cosmos since 2018. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, consultant, speaker, writer, vibrational astrology student, Dwarf Planet University graduate, Kepler Astrology Toastmasters Club charter member. I have a fine arts music degree plus a certificate in jazz. I'm an artist, musician, and certified color energy life coach. Especially, I love mythology and esoteric philosophies.
I'm Robert Bassetti, professional consulting astrologer and the visionary behind Deep Earth Astrology and the Deep Earth Astrology Tarot, a divination tool and teaching aid that integrates astrology, herbalism, and natural reverence. I specialize in vibrational and psychological techniques and infuse my practice with a deep connection to nature's spirituality. I'm currently the Grand Pendragon in the Ancient Order of Druids in America and the director of the Magus Gathering in Gore, Virginia.
And I'm Linda Berry. I hold a professional astrology certificate in vibrational astrology from the Avalon School of Astrology, as well as a Master of Science in Social Work and bachelor degrees in psychology, mathematics, and computer programming. I teach vibrational astrology courses in the School of the Astrology of Vibrational Energetics online. I created Frequency Finder and add-on to Cosmic Pattern, Sirius, and Kepler software. Frequency Finder provides an in-depth astrological analysis of your astrology chart. As a vibrational astrology researcher, I moderate a vibrational astrology research group, am an international consultant, a published author, and the writer of a free daily blog, The Vibrational Astrology Diary.
As an ancient mathematician, Pythagoras' music of the spheres about vibrating stars and planets, the electrical engineer Nikola Tesla said,
If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Well, that aligns us. Hi, Linda. Hi, Rob.
Hello. Well, there's certainly a lot of energy and frequency in this solstice pattern today, huh?
Yeah. Indeed. Yes, indeed. We'll get right to it. The winter solstice, folks, 0 degrees Capricorn. And as we were chatting, I love this definition. It's extreme points of greatest light and greatest dark. Stonehenge, as we know, in England. Many monuments around the world, from Göbekli Tepe down in Turkey, the mounds in the United States territory with all over the East Coast, Easter Island. It goes on and on. It's an incredible, antiquated experience that people thousands of years ago wondered about the sky and the solstice because they're the turning, the direction. It's a threshold, this transition between light and dark, and a portal into nature's pathway. Here, looking at the Northern Hemisphere, the winter solstice at 0 degrees 0 Capricorn, happening about 6 hours ago, I believe it was.
10 a.m. Yeah, 6 hours ago.
Yeah, because here it was 5 a.m., there it was 10 a.m. Yes. Yeah. And it was, yes. And here are the times. So going over to Greenwich, it would be at 3:04 p.m. And then it goes earlier and earlier as you go across the world. It changes. Your zones change. It means, thank you, sun stands still. We want to go over this material, but there's so much material that we want to look into and talk about the meaningfulness of these messages going ahead. But the sun stands still as far as our viewpoint from Earth. For 3 days, it seems to hover at this degree because from our experience, it seems that's what it does. We won't get into much. And it's at that Tropic of Capricorn, which is below the equator at 23 degrees latitude, 26 minutes. It's the most southern point. And that's when at high noon, the sun is the highest in the sky, which is from our standpoint low. If you're down below the equator, of course, it's the highest. There we go. So really, the purpose that we're experiencing or relating in our dialogue between Linda and Rob and myself is looking at this spiritual authority. What's happening? Who's in charge of this collective consciousness, this winter solstice? And what does a Capricorn mean? What does it represent? So here we're going to have a little conversation. Again, looking at the vibrational astrology viewpoint that Satino, who is now his name, David Cochran, who creates evidential astrology and first created this. And Linda is both a student and a master and a researcher with Satino. So this is very active. It's stepping back objectively, unattached. It's a witness consciousness. There you go. Any comments? I know.
Yeah, I love that term, unattached mirroring, as far as witness consciousness. We often look at the trope of like the business person with Capricorn and they're good with resources. And why is that? They're often able to put themselves in the eyes of the people and then develop their own earthy connectiveness through that. And that's very powerful.
Indeed. Yes. And Linda in our conversation was reminding us, because the signs have been a bit researched, it's not as much as anyway, they have been, because Cardinal finds different, I have it here, but the point is that in Libra is more the heart to the relationships. And here it's the heart unattached to a particular relationship rather than the collective. Am I right about that?
Well, one way you can put that is that each of the cardinal signs is starting something. And Libra is starting relationships. It's establishing relationships. Cancer is establishing a safe space to be yourself in. Aries is establishing yourself. Mm-hmm. And Capricorn is establishing a state of objectivity.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's so important, too, when we're talking about the winter solstice as a whole, because whether you're in the Northern Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere, it's a change in the way that the light shines. It's that point in the year when things are moving into a different direction. And being objective there and planning for the year ahead is often something we equate with the winter solstice in Capricorn.
I was really fascinated, Sue, I was brought back to the thing you said about there being a change. The standstill. At the winter solstice and at the summer solstice, we change directions. Things go from increasing to decreasing or from decreasing to increasing, depending on which part of the world you're in. And what is really interesting is that in order to change directions, you have to stand still for at least a moment You have to stop and stand still.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you. It is bringing in, has that gift too of internalizing. That's, well, here again, I guess this recaps a little bit of what we were just
that
talking
was
about.
some of what I said.
Yes, and removes. Vibrational astrology, just for those that may not be familiar with it, because there is quite an audience that's active that is of course interested, but it's frequency. It's vibrational patterns of resonance. There are many techniques and there's patterns which involve 3 planets actually, or more. They're researched using thousands of charts to determine. Now, there's a study books that Linda and David Cochran-Zatino have created to work with this in their teachings. There's software that David created, and there's a frequency, which Linda mentioned in her introduction, frequency finder, which is, and she's building a new one that's going to be like rocket to us to the future. So there's a lot of tools, and it's simple yet it's complex. Here you can observe later at your leisure, however it is, some succinct definitions. And the beauty of this complex vibrational energy is it is really succinct. It builds, not like Legos, but it builds. And so there you go. Here are some expressions that you can look at a little bit more. The sun and moon, for instance, reference time, but the sun is current. You're seeing it now. That the moon, as it's reflected, is the past. There you go. This ends my segment of it until Linda brings in hers. But again, it's this emphasis that Nikola Tesla, as we said, to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He was an electrical engineer along with Edison. Who knows who really started the light bulb first? And as Max Heindel, another mystic, Rosicrucian founder, these are 18th century folk, or 19th century in the 1800 folks, said all things are in a state of vibration, which they knew back in the Greek days too, and probably earlier. We will stop that and let Linda begin. Here we go. We have the new.
Okay. Let's see here. Is this it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, the winter solstice, a time of extremes. Longest night, shortest day, shortest night, longest day. We change directions. A time of change when new things can be born.
Mm-hmm.
And here is the chart.
Woo.
Yeah, I mean,
and I have to wait just 1 second. I want to apologize to Sue. I got Hawaii time off by 1 hour. I think it was actually 5:03 a.m.
Yeah, I know with the standard and the everything.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out whether it was 5 or 6 hours. Anyway.
Well, the first thing I was just going to point out is that midpoint pattern there with this is the Sun enter Libra chart, I think.
Oh, shoot. You are absolutely right.
But just what's happening right now really is that we see that the sun
here's the correct chart. It just has something extra.
That's okay. You know, we are in this huge reset. All the outer planets are in their old signs. And so really to look at September is sort of interesting. People might find that intriguing. So yes, go ahead, Rob.
Okay, so here it is in that pattern you're talking about. I have circled here, I think.
Yeah, it's a very tight midpoint where the sun is at the direct midpoint of Mars and Venus.
Right.
And just from when we're talking about vibrational astrology and we're talking about Mars and Venus, often we, in modern astrology, we would equate that with some kind of a love aspect, and it can have that ability. But when we're talking about Venus, we're talking about attraction, and when we're talking about Mars, we're talking about energy and action. So when we're talking about the sun being fed, especially in Capricorn with the witness consciousness by that Mars and that Venus, this is really a time of artistry. This is when we can put energy into what we find beautiful and create new things. So, with the state of the economy all over the world right now, this is a great time to start a side hustle. Get it often does have to be something that we do with a connection to the earth, with our hands, building something, creating something physical for others to enjoy. This is just a wonderful time for that right out of the gate. And with the transition, like for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the winter. It's a great time to get into something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love the idea of the creativity, because as those planets later, which will be during winter, Saturn and Neptune in Aries, it's beginning. It's so, I always think, and if we're starting things, we want to visualize it. I mean, it's a Aries, the photography, I know we associate it with modern astrology, but it's still graphic. There's a lot of artistry with that sign. So I think it imbues this potential. That's how I really love to think about it. It's another way of expressing, back in the day, thank you, maybe about 20,000, many thousands of years ago, there's pictures everywhere. How do we remember what they're doing? They have the stars and the animals and petroglyphs.
What are your thoughts on that square between this midpoint pattern, which will expand out into an isotrap pattern? But what are your thoughts just on the midpoint pattern to that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, Linda? How do you think that's going to work?
What you've got here is, let's see, I think I've got it here, I've got it right here. Venus, Neptune, and Sun, Saturn. And they're like 2 minutes apart. This is a super strong midpoint structure between two midpoints. And, the strongest part of this is the part I wrote over here to the side, Venus, Saturn, and Sun, Neptune. That's the crisscross diagonal patterns, which are always the strongest ones. And Venus, Saturn is understanding on a very basic level that beauty and attraction is the most fundamental thing in life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is tied to something really, really interesting. A couple of things. One, for the winter solstice chart, it's not super strong, but we have a tendency to look at the fundamental vibrations, the first 32 vibrations, and they kind of give us an underlying tactic or technique for dealing with things. And the strongest ones are 5 and 10, which is this creativity we've been starting to everybody's tending to talk about, going out and interacting with and exploring the world, the things you're attracted to in the world around you. And do you know that when you do that without an agenda, all of a sudden there emerges within you an understanding, an organic understanding of the things you're messing around with.
Love it.
And that's core here, Venus and Mars interacting in those ways. But the other thing I was going to say is Venus traces a 5-pointed star in the sky as it does its orbit. The conjunctions of Sun and Venus create a 5-pointed star. The 5-pointed star is connected with the whole concept of natural evolution, natural expression, the golden means, the whole process of resonating into the patterns around you, the fifth vibration, and the 5-pointed star and Venus. And here we have this extremely tight pattern with Venus, Saturn, and Sun Neptune. One way to put it, I put here, is a beauty that is fundamental, that opens us to a sense of wonder and magic on a daily basis.
That really puts it on immediate terms, that embodying the whole experience. I think sages say you have to be present, you have to be mindful.
Yeah.
But in that point of really allowing that permission, in your mind, that is going to be the energy, and you can create and discover have that choice, because we can feel so afflicted, perhaps. It removes that affliction of external dimensions, into our life.
We've been dealing with this planetary pattern, this planetary pairing of Saturn and Neptune for a while, and it's gonna stay there. And
until we have a conjunction next month. In February.
And in vibrational astrology, I mean, really, what this comes down to, it's getting to the root cause. It's getting to the foundations of what we find magical and fantastic. It's that can be both a pleasure and a pain directed on whatever you're doing. So, I mean, I really agree with you, Sue, that it's a choice. How do you want to manifest this energy? Because, there is some degree of manifestation with Saturn. And, so many times we kind of look at this as a negative planetary pattern, as it's restrictive. But I don't think it's restrictive in the sense that it does allow us to kind of dig deep and get into the root of what we find magical and fantastic and creative in the world.
The Saturn-Neptune itself, which is going to be conjunct on the 20th of February, I think we're actually going to talk about it on the 22nd, aren't we, Sue?
Yes, we are. We're going to come back for that.
We have an extra presentation on vibrational
I know.
Saturn-Neptune on the 22nd of February.
And in between, we do have a Venus star point. Really, with that Pentagon and Venus as you're
it's getting close to it. Yeah.
Yes, it'll be January 6th.
Okay.
But I think it's fascinating that Mars is right here, and and along with this energy with Saturn and Neptune. Do you have a vibration that this is really working towards, that we might?
Yes. There you go. The next slide.
It's like the opening up the package.
Here is the chart. The strongest vibration is 139, and I had to put up the chart. This is an amazing chart, folks, for those of you that aren't used to looking at astrology charts. To have this kind of an intense concentrated energy and all these rays going to it or out from it, depending on your perspective, this is an amazing chart.
Oh, it looks like a Christmas decoration to me, red and green. Yeah, I love it.
So what would 139, this pattern is happening with the 139th harmonic chart. Right. So what is the definition of the 139th harmonic chart? Well, I know we're talking about 19 and 49 energy. What do you think, Linda?
Okay, the 139 has not been researched clearly yet. We're in the process, but we're not there. Okay, but I do have down here some of the energy that's involved in 139 that we can get indications we can get before we do the research. So we're talking about introducing new things into your community through analysis of the current patterns, identifying what could work more effectively.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And seeking to build a flow in the community through reaching deep into yourself to make connections with the universal patterns within you and sharing them with others.
Empowering. Yes, finding that leadership within.
Yeah, it's this interactive process, and to interact with others in the community, seeking to improve the patterns in the community.
There's so much. Well, I was going to say there's so much purpose involved, so many reasons to consider how to move forward. And this is a stepping stone that we need, whether it's this nation or any nation, well, collectively around the world, we're experiencing changes that involve things that we didn't do, whether it's by individuals or whether it's by the government or nature, all of it. So to find that we can connect into a community that is special to us and to use all our faculties to analyze, to be effective, to make it operate. It's not abracadabra, but there is a method. There's a methodology.
Now, this is based off of the source chart of the actual winter solstice moment. And oftentimes when we see a good congruency between the nature of the vibration and the patterns that are happening within that chart itself, it seems to be very potent. And to introduce new things into your community through analysis of the current patterns, identifying what could work more effectively, is very Capricornian. There's a lot of witness consciousness that is involved with that. And also that midpoint pattern that we were talking about, Mars, Venus into the sun. I mean, this is really a time when we're going to be able to maximize the core concepts of vibration 139.
And to remember that playful experience that Linda was bringing up. Yes, so that this witness, instead of getting too logically deducted, like, oh my goodness, how is this working, and questioning, yes, to analyze to a certain point. But I think because also with vibrational astrology, that pairing of planets with Saturn and Neptune is ultimately at its best the spiritual, which Linda can elaborate, that meaning that we don't have to always interpret. I'm bringing in that playful ability as we try to analyze rather than totally rejecting things. It's trying to engage. But
okay, I'd like to talk some more about that Saturn-Neptune thing, probably after the break.
Okay, good. That's true. We could leave right now and come back and give ourselves just a moment more. Thank you. Great timing. It's Saturn. We're in there. Come back, folks. There's a little break. You can get a little water or coffee or whatever, and we'll see you again with Linda Barry and Rob Passetti and myself about this happy solstice, this new solstice. See ya. While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We are currently in the Yang period of Sagittarius, ruled by the largest of all planets, Jupiter, the Roman god, or Zeus by the ancient Greeks. By leaving a cycle based on power and powerlessness of life and death and regeneration, involving committed relationships, Sagittarius energy finds meaning for an expanded perspective and potential for actualization in their search for truth. As a mutable fire sign depicted by the centaur, Sagittarius is adventurous and seeks the beyond. Sagittarius travels to far places, physically and mentally, to find the truths of life.
This is psychological astrologer Dr. Now.Chat. Please join me, Michelle Fleming, and Edja Caleb February 21st through the 28th for Evolutionary Training's annual Goddess Awakening Retreat in Playa El Coco, Nicaragua. Enjoy daily yoga, well-being workshops, melt classes, baby sea turtles, and more. To register, go to mythicsky.com.
Talk Cosmos brings insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for the soul growth with hour-long programs. Talk Cosmos weekly programs are also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. Or if you'd rather listen to the show archives with audio only, the entire podcast collection since 2018 is available on most podcast carriers. And to find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com. So grab your coffee, tea, or kombucha and enjoy the show.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to newprosupplements.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, December 28th, It's an encore presentation. Tune in to hear Dr. Nels Rasmussen last show here on Animal World and find out what our plans for the show in the future. Linda was here too, and you can receive a surrogate healing just by listening along and following her directions. Hope you can join us for Martha Norwalk's Animal World Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Going against the grain has never been this much fun. Alternative Talk 1150.
Hi, everybody. Here we have, just for a little moment, let's bring attention to our guest, Linda Barry, at School of Astrology of Vibrational Energetics, but it's at astrosleuth.org. And every January, she begins an entire new program, which I'll show in a moment, of students. And Rob Passetti at deepearthastrology.com and myself. So here with Linda, her School of the Astrology of Vibrational Energetics, twice a year, starting in January, begins a new course. So you can just email her. And
yes, if you want to learn vibrational astrology, we start new students this January.
And it's a great course with lots of help. Again, there's her diary, and it's free. It's published. You just email to subscribe. But Linda also has Sabian reports, which is personalized to your chart, involving the new moon and full moon, and again something special like the solstice, which is very reasonable and insightful. It's tailored. And are you doing a special spiritual class in addition, Linda? I know you discussed it once.
Starting in January, a couple times a month on the first and third Friday evenings, actually, people will get together for a workshop that will help them to learn how to manage their personal energy in some ways they may not have realized they're even able to manage it. How to protect themselves from things coming in that they don't want to come into them, energies from around them, how to cleanse and purify and enhance the energies within them so that they work more effectively.
Oh, that is just wonderful. I know we didn't have time to really create a slide about that, but this is for anybody, folks. You don't need to be an astrologer. And it's everything that Linda has learned in her life and feels this timing it's perfect. I know, I'm excited. I'm going to look into it myself. And there's always Fractal Cosmos. Rob is the co-director of this with Linda, and it was last September, and it will be again, and there'll be more about it. But just to bring your attention, remember that it's about vibrational astrology. It's a very exciting conference. Rob has Deep Earth, and go ahead, Rob. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of things with the Ancient Order of Druids in America and astrology right now, so please check us out at aoda.org. I'm also going to be teaching for the School of Relationships and Astrology with Margaret Gray coming up in April. You can find that at relationshipsandastrology.com. And I'm also very excited for this upcoming Fractal Cosmos. We had our first year. We got our feet wet. It was great. And now, we're ready to take the next step, expand the conference, and I can't wait.
Oh, boy. And sometime we'll have to put those acronyms or that links in here because that would be helpful. So we'll work on that. Cosmos has always, is this one happening now? Oh, boy, this is last year, too. Okay, that's good. But last and now, boy, we're in it. Saturn and Neptune still in Pisces. It's like, where's the boundaries? Okay. These are the ones past. And next week, I have Melissa Elvira Billington. She's a dwarf planet astrologer, such as myself. And we're focusing on those. How does that integrate? But our message is, be your best medicine. It really involves a lot what we're talking about here. We have a choice. We can have that creative self. And I'm thrilled to see that the energies are pushing us forward. Okay, that is all for me. And it is all goody. Now to go ahead with Linda's messages.
Okay. Now, we have a choice at this point. We wanted to have more discussion and interaction this time, so I didn't prepare as many slides. So we can either choose to go and continue to talk about the solstice some more, or we can go on to the Sabian symbol patterns at this point.
I'd like to touch on that isotrap pattern in the solstice chart if we could.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about that midpoint pattern with Mars and Venus, but that actually does expand out to an isotrap pattern that involves, I think, Mercury and the Moon. So if we're able to get back to that,
that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I can't show you anything unless I can get my computer up here so I can show you on my computer screen.
That's okay.
Oh, I don't think you can do that, Linda.
Okay, that's all right.
So Linda, what would you say is the difference between the energy of a midpoint pattern and an isotrap pattern?
Okay. A midpoint pattern, first of all, is 3 planets, and the isotrap is 4. Mm-hmm. So that's a basic difference. In the midpoint pattern, you have 2 points on the chart wheel. You identify the point in the middle, and that doesn't do anything for you. Every 2 points on the chart have a point in their middle in every vibration, in every chart, but that doesn't mean they're active. Mm-hmm. What happens is that another point on the chart, like another planet, comes and sits on that midpoint. And when it sits on that midpoint, it's like it flips a switch. It turns the whole thing on. And the closer it is to exactly the middle of the midpoint, the stronger the pattern is. And that's what a midpoint is.
Yeah, 15 degrees. Yes, as we learned.
Okay. Now, an isotrap is 2 midpoints sitting on each other. And 2 midpoints sitting on each other is a little vaguer, a little more subliminal, a little harder to bring into words clearly. You feel it, they're both resonances, and that means it's a vibration or coloring to the energy of the chart. That this is the way things are resonating. And, but it's easier for a midpoint pattern to get really precise and hit you over the head because it's only 3 planets. With a 4-planet pattern, it takes a very special situation for you to get to where that pattern conjuncts somewhere in the chart.
And the more, it's not just more the merrier, it's more power, which I know as we learn about it. And I meant 15 minutes, folks. I did not mean 15 degrees. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, here we are. Yeah, Nate's back. Go ahead, Rob. You had some thoughts?
We talked about that midpoint pattern with with Venus and Mars feeding into the sun. Right. And we just talked about what that meant. But we also have this this isotrap pattern between
Saturn, Neptune, and Sun, Venus.
Yeah. So, I mean, how is that going to flavor some of the things that are going on?
What you've got is, first of all, you've got the Sun Saturn. Sun Saturn is one of the 2 midpoints, and Venus Neptune is the other one. The Sun Saturn midpoint is stimulated by the Venus Saturn midpoint. Mm-hmm. A Venus Neptune midpoint. The Sun Saturn midpoint is stimulated by the Venus Neptune midpoint. And Sun Saturn midpoint turns on a sense of awareness of what's really important in our everyday life. What is it that is essential that we do? What are the things that are foundational? Okay, so that's the Sun Saturn. It's really about operating responsibly. And the word responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh,
ability to respond.
Yeah.
That's responsibility.
And set a priority. The priorities.
Yeah, it's not just it's ability to respond appropriately, which is not necessarily to respond the way people think you should.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily that. Now that Sun Saturn personal responsibility is combined with Venus Neptune. This is attraction to dreams and visions, to seeing the beauty of the dreams and visions. So what you're doing is you're taking your dreams and your visions, and this is about wanting to responsibly express them in your everyday life.
And again, that's responsibly express them within your own purview of how the world is operating. That isn't necessarily within the structures or the confinements of the things that you're given. It's about what you feel that you're responsible to bring out into the world. And when we layer that with that power of that midpoint with the Sun, Mars, and Venus, it's extraordinarily powerful for just manifesting things into the world. I mean, and as we move on through, the continuation of the motions of the planet, and we're talking about the Venus star point coming up. We're talking about the Saturn Neptune conjunction coming up. There's going to be a shift in the collective consciousness coming.
Absolutely. It is really this tidal. It's like here I live at the ocean. And of course, right now, those outer planets are in Pisces, and it comes in, and you see how the spray comes up against the bulkhead, and it's always in motion, but it's just like a vibration. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And
right.
There's that old adage that good times create weak people, and then weak people move. I don't really
cliches. Yeah.
They're just cliches. Whereas, we are absolutely giving an opportunity here to manifest things into the world as we are moving into a new form of consciousness.
Yeah, the world is creation. Every single moment it evolves. Nature, what we are today is not what we. It's like a no-brainer.
We should go now to the Sabian symbols.
Okay,
they are
onward.
addressing these same things.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. The distance from the sun to the moon, how far the moon has moved beyond the sun at the winter solstice, which isn't very far because we had the new moon 2 days ago. 17 degrees, the moon has moved beyond the sun. And that gives us the Sabian symbol of 18 of Aries, an empty hammock. Feeling a sense of emptiness and potentiality. Hear the potentiality in there. Opening to and waiting for connection to the various aspects of yourself, or closing down and running away.
Yeah,
all right.
Overwhelm.
Right. Now, the sole intention behind this is to have a clearing of the air, working on resolving many issues that have been building up, letting you release tension, joyfully embrace the present, and let go of fear. If you operate out of fear, constantly looking for the next storm that's going to appear, you get into an extreme emotional state where you can't ever let go. So this is about release in a sense. And finally, the spirit pattern behind it is about handling baggage. Facing the issues and burdens you carry within you, working through them piece by piece. Or you can just let it all come in on you all at once and overwhelm you. You'll be overburdened. You'll be unable to cope with it. It won't work.
Wow. Well, this is a call to action, but it's not a tall order if we realize that because I'm thinking with this trust business, it's not just us. To be playful, like you said, and to also allow the source to come up with the kind of the unknown. Work with the unknown.
It's also about trusting yourself and having, that confidence to release the fear and trust in your ability to move forward, I think. I mean, not allowing the outside influences to be something that binds you versus allowing you to be set free. And we've used the word choice so many times so far. It's like you do have this option at this point. It's and I think that the winter solstice is really a great time for choice, because whether you're in the Northern Hemisphere or you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's either the light's coming or the light's going away. How are you going to handle this change?
And to see potential, which
Absolutely.
I think, that Linda's bringing up, that's absolutely a gift, because we all have. In fact, on a creative level, many times it's that baggage that we have that we're reinterpreting into some other form that's creativity, whether it's a song, whether it's a story, whether it's a picture, it's redefining, repurposing, redescribing, or giving new life to old stuff, to composting.
I really like this. Working through our baggage piece by piece, or just allowing it to overwhelm you. I mean, we've all walked into a messy room and not known where to start, and really the answer is just, piece by piece, corner by corner, building the foundations and then working towards them.
Pick one little thing in that messy room you can make better.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I think of my files. I try really hard, but I'm making headway, boy, and it feels so good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that's extremely potent. I mean,
and the sunshine, after a storm, each part of these, the way that it's expressed, are really something. Maybe we can go back to that. It's
there.
Clearing,
I moved it back.
Yeah, clearing the air happens to be really close to my Pluto, and it's in the 11th house, and as far as my natal, so it's this energy, and again, finding that community that we're part of, that major vibration 139, that's saying, what are the patterns that we observe, and how can we perhaps implement it through a witness, witnessing it. It's that whole we have many tools here.
Yeah, and I think that for both of these Sabian symbols, objectivity is a really powerful tool. Being able to get out of your own head and to look at things from a clear and transparent picture. You're finding that after the turmoil, there is a clearing of the air and a resolving of the many issues that have been building up. And a direct way to deal with that from a spiritual standpoint is to be objective, is to take a step back, use your witness consciousness on yourself, even, looking at looking at the inside from the outside. We often call this an outer plane check. Are the things that I am feeling right now, are they actually true, or are they all that laundry falling on top of me, just giving me this overwhelming feeling of burden? So the clearing of the air into dealing with kind of the baggage just seems like a really good metaphor. And especially when we looked at that chart and the nature of Capricorn and the nature of the winter solstice, it's a great time to do that.
And remember that underneath all of this is vibration 139, evaluating the patterns around you, the patterns in your community, taking them inside of you and seeing what wisdom you have about them, taking them into a sense of, oh, this would work better if we did this instead of this. And then bringing that back out and sharing it with others and helping to be the change that needs to be made.
Yeah.
It's really exciting whether you're extrovert or introvert. I was just thinking, first I was on my own terms, and I thought, well, for anybody at any time, and we're both, depending on what the circumstance is, I believe. But what I'm getting at is that one can be as involved as they want with the surroundings, their community, or back behind the scenes, if that's the preference, to contribute in some significant way because to realize that we're making an impact in some dimension, not just for ourselves, but in life. People are eager.
I can tell you as a general principle, every time you get anything inside of yourself to work better, every time you get any relationship with another person to work better, you have made a change that ripples out into the world.
I can relate to that. That is so powerful. So really, it begins at home, which is here, right here. And with those signs, I mean, Saturn, the timekeeper in whatever sense, or the fundamental, what's really the lowdown, working with how far can we go out there to expand, both in Aries, it says, hey, I'm kinetic, I'm moving, I'm changing, it is starting things. It starts here. We can project and think, how can we affect? But it's right. We're the stone that gets thrown into the river and work that motion
and sends the waves out.
Yeah.
And, when we're talking about relationships and we're talking about astrology, oftentimes, when somebody comes for what we would call a synastry reading or just an overall relationship reading, the first thing is like, oh, this is where their Mars is and this is where my Venus is. What does this mean? It's like, whoa. We need to go look at your chart first. We need to see where you're at. And talk about that. Then we need that person to do the same thing. And then we can come together and start talking about how these things work together. Yeah. Because without a core sense of self, it's very difficult to have healthy relationships. I mean, we are in an age where toxicity is almost demanded in some respects with how we communicate with each other on the collective level. And just understanding where you're at and where the other person at as an individual before you come together for the relationship can often be the difference between a successful astrology reading in synastry and one where you're just left feeling like, oh, I really didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, and every situation, clearing your own, and looking at it like a vibration, if we are in a vibration, and clearing that sense of, because empathically we do pick up. I mean, people, even if they don't realize that in those in that sense, but you're impacted, with other, whether it's cognizant, mentally, or whether you realize that vibrationally you've allowed this into your orbit. So, and more than that, it's because I'm referencing what Linda has said here, that remembering back to our early, what built us, this is a perfect time to start analyzing on a personal basis what might be what do we hate. Because what we hate is going to be seen.
One thing, let me just as a kind of a, is it here? Yeah, in the 139, which remember is a very fundamental energy, there is a strong rebirth pattern. Reaching out to act in new ways that bring a rebirth. Finding new emotional feelings that celebrate the beauty that transcends time and space. You've got Haumea here with Mars in this big flowing green aspect with all these planets.
Now, is that the frequency finder that of the vibration that you went into?
This is the strongest vibration in the winter solstice.
Okay, 139. I love bringing in Haumea.
This is from frequency finder. It showed this as the strongest vibrational. See, all these relationships, it's measuring all the relationships in each vibration. And this was the biggest one.
No, I follow. I just wanted, that's okay. But Haumea is definitely the planet of bringing in rebirth. In Hawaii here, she created every part of her body. And,
I know. And I think we're running into the very...
No, and we can talk during the music. There's a short little window here. Okay. But I am so happy that this solstice, that light as we're increasing, or however it is working, adjusting with us, is either going to spotlight internally what's dark and bring out into the light more that we can enjoy and engage and be playful and still witness. Wow, what a full package. Thank you, Linda Barry. Thank you, Rob Passetti. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining an insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests awaken consciousness by connecting soul growth patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.